I am a huge Godzilla fan. Ever since I saw the 2013 Godzilla in theaters, I became I became engaged with the franchise ever since then. My personal top 5 favorites are, well, Godzilla Final Wars, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 1974, GMK, Godzilla vs. Destroya, and Godzilla 1954. And with the release of Shin Godzilla, when I heard there was going to be a Godzilla anime, I was excited. Boy, I've been waiting for a Godzilla anime for my entire life. Not just that, every G fan were waiting for a Godzilla anime, and because what's why and why was it so important? Because anime is not just popular in Japan, but it's popular around the world. and with that, and with Godzilla being translated into anime, it can make Godzilla more popular than ever he was. This was definitely a kaiju revival. The kaiju genre, and I was like, the kaiju genre was back in business. Because after Godzilla Final Wars and Gamma the Brave, we didn't get any more kaiju movies. I mean, we did get Peter Jackson's King Kong and Cloverfield, but that was all. That's because they were made in America, and people like stuff in America more than Japan. But back, but back to the anime Godzilla movie. The movie would be titled Planet of the Monsters, and it would be the first entry of an anime trilogy. We got more excited. Trailers popped in, and we were a little bit worried, but we were still excited nonetheless. And then the movie came out on Netflix January 17th, 2018, and it sucked. We hoped the sequel would be better, but no, it was the sequel was somehow worse than the first movie. And then the third movie, while the best of the three movies, it's still horrible, still awful, still atrocious. I hate every single out of all the Godzilla movies I've seen. These are easily my least favorites. My top 3 least favorites. Let's go on with the characters. Oh boy, they are so horrible. They are so awful. My goodness, Horo Sakaki, such a unlikable protagonist. He's so unlikable. He consistently yells, "I want to kill Godzilla because he killed my family." Jesus Christ! Can this guy just calm down for a second? Yuko Tani, she's just a useless love interest. She is just a useless love interest. I didn't care when she died in Sitting on the Edge of Battle. Now, Martin Lazari, he's just for he's just a useless scientist. So Toas, the Mothra twins, also not good. They're also forgettable. They're also useless love interests. They're also useless love interests. Now Adam Benweld. He's also just a he's also a useless character. I hate him also. Pe- and people like to say that the Bio Saludo and the XF are the only good interesting characters in those movies. But I have to disagree. I also thought that those that the villain that those protectionist villains were so awful and forgettable. Methy is just a forgettable priest, and Galago is just a forgettable. I don't even know what he represents. The story is also awful. It is. The first movie rips off Attack on Titan. The second movie rips off Devilman, and the third movie rips off Evangelion. Heck, the, heck, the anime trilogy prequels are even a ripoff of the Pacific Rim timeline. Let's now those should be only minor nitpicks, right? Why don't we go to the monsters in the animation? Oh, they suck too. Out of all the Godzilla incarnations, Godzilla Earth and Philius are easily the worst incarnations of them all. Yes, even worse than Zilla. Their Godzilla is a plant? That makes no sense. He shouldn't be a plant. He should be a reptile. This Godzilla incarnation is worse than Shin Godzilla. At least Shin Godzilla was an animal. Godzilla Earth, he's a fucking plant. Mechagodzilla City? Oh, easily the worst Mechagodzilla design and the worst Mechagodzilla incarnation of all. Oh yeah, and Godzilla Earth also has a terrible design as well. A ripoff of the legendary Godzilla from 2014. Now back to Mechagodzilla. Mechagodzilla's design looks so atrocious. He looks so awful. And he didn't even show up. The movie said he was going to show up, but he didn't. Oh my goodness. Now let's go to Ghidorah, the big bad. He also sucks. He's basically just a giant, long, I can't, a spaghetti alien. Oh my goodness. He doesn't even look like Ghidorah. He looks like Amanda knockoff. He looks like Amanda knockoff, and his full body didn't even show up. It only appeared in silhouettes. And even his design is terrible. Even his body design is terrible. This is easily the worst King Ghidorah of all. Worse than the GMK Ghidorah. Oh yeah, and back to Mechagodzilla. Mechagodzilla, anime Mechagodzilla, is easily the worst Mechagodzilla of all. Worse than the Heisei Mechagodzilla and the Monsterverse Mechagodzilla. At least they look like a metallic version of Godzilla. This one just looks like scrap metal. The animation? Oh boy, the animation is awful. The animation is worse than the animation in Food Fight in Norm of the North. This is the worst animation I've seen in my entire life. Oh my goodness. I hate to say it, but the only good thing I like is the soundtrack and the songs Whiteout, Skyfalls, and Live and Die. And it's such a shame those soundtracks were used for these horrible abominations. I know I'm hurting your feelings, Blue Nova, but again, just like in the last video, if people can criticize Omnivore for being a Monsterverse shill, and some people criticizing Titan Gochi for being a Higuchi Attack on Titan shill, then I can criticize you for being a Godzilla Anime Trilogy shill. Oh yeah, that's the thing. People like to say that. Oh wait, that's the thing. There's another thing. There's people who love the anime trilogy, and that's completely fine. But the problem is, whenever they see people bashing on these movies, they think that we hate these movies because you just want to watch monster fights. You don't want to watch you can't handle a trilogy of films that's more thought provoking and more engaging than 90% of the Godzilla movies. Well, that's not true. If the human stories, if the human element in Godzilla movies are horrible, then at least we should look at the monsters to somewhat satisfy us. Like look at Godzilla Final Wars and Godzilla vs. Kong. They have horrible plots, and most of the characters are not good. Some of them are pretty bad, but we give those movies a pass because at least they have amazing monster fights. But the anime trilogy had no good monster fights. The monster action was boring, and since both the human aspects and the monster action were boring, then those type of movies are a huge waste of time. The 2010s was a horrible decade for a kaiju series. It may have been a revival. People can still call it a revival since again we haven't had these movies since the kaiju movies in the 2000s bombed at the box office. But still, I call them the Disney post. I like to call the kaiju revival, or like modern kaiju movies. I mean, the Disney post Renaissance, because these movies are losing kaiju fans. It's a shame we didn't get any good kaiju movies in the 2010s. But out of yeah, the kaiju movies in the 2010s were not good. But out of all the kaiju movies in the 2010s, the anime trilogy is usually the worst. Oh, here's another thing. No, the anime trilogy isn't just the worst thing in the Godzilla franchise, nor is it the worst thing in the anime industry, but it's also the worst. These movies are the worst movies to ever be made. Yes, it's even worse than Avatar: The Last Airbender, Dragon Ball Evolution, The Room, and many other horrible movies. The anime trilogy is by far the number three worst movies of all time. Please, I dare you. If you have not seen these movies, please do not watch them. I don't want you to go through the same suffering I did with those horrible movies. But as anyways, goodbye.